I took.
Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first AR or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley. I am joined tonight by my co-host Garth Over.
How we doing tonight?
And of course, the director of propaganda. Joe, how we doing?
Doing good. Hope everybody else is doing good.
Yes, we are. And we got first time listening live. Eric, thanks for joining us live. Glad you're here.
Glad you are here.
Yep. So, as we get into this, before we jump into, I don't know if we can call what we have tonight.
I am joined
the main topic. And but before we get into the topic, we're going to I can see chat's going to be fun tonight.
Oh, chat's going to be so fun.
Yeah. But anyway, Joe, did you do anything fun with guns this week?
No, I was busy all weekend with state darts like Garth was. I did.
Joe got second place! Yeah, second place!
We got second place. Team. We had a good run. Just didn't have the extra stuff that we needed on Sunday. But not really. I did get my laser range kind of running more operational, starting doing some stuff with my Blackbeard and my cert. Other than that, now I'm waiting for it to get nice out again this weekend, and hopefully we can hit the range again.
Yeah, I am excited to hit the range again this weekend. I know I did get out to the range this last week. I spent the weekend. Well, you guys are doing fun stuff. I spent the weekend training, and was teaching. I'm not going to say young skulls full of mush, but I was definitely training and working with people that needed a little help with things on all manner of machine guns, and did that. So that was fun for me because there's nothing I love more than training. I did get to the range for a little bit on Friday and tested out a new possible match that we're going to try out this year. Our stage, if you will, of a match. And we're going to do that. And that was a good time to go out, and I pushed it really hard going for time, not as much for accuracy. This weekend I want to get out again and try it for running against more accuracy than time and seeing what I can do it in the time hack we have. So developing that stuff, other than that, just normal things for me.
Oh, I'm unmuted. I can I talk now?
You can mute and unmute yourself.
Well, I didn't mute myself though.
Oh.
Oh yeah. That he laughs about it. I was congratulating Joe on second place, and I got muted. So I just it's fine. It's whatever. No, I did not get to do anything fun in guns because, like Joe said, we were both at state darts over the last week. We had a blast there. He took second place. Congratulations, Joe. I did not place because my team sucked. So I did get to go to Blue Collar Tactical. That was cool. Got to do the live gun draw on their website. You can see my feet. That's about it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, Jim, yes, it is up and running on Rumble. I just checked.
No, definitely on Rumble because I have the Rumble chat pulled up right now. Super fun. There's a lot of stuff going on there. No, nothing eventful for guns. Didn't get to do VR this week. Didn't get to go to the range. Things happened. Well, I was gone for a week and a half. Now I'm back, and it's getting nice out. So hopefully we go to the range this Saturday, all three of us, maybe, if the snow holds off or rain or whatever is going to come, or probably nothing because it's a barren desert in South Dakota right now. So we'll probably get to go to the range and hang out this week, but no, nothing cool to report on my end for this week in guns.
Fair enough. I know that those things happen. It's sometimes you just have to go through and force it. It seems like to make stuff happen for gun stuff. I know that that's a very real thing. And you guys were off doing other. I just read this and I was like, that is weird. The voice of 1,000 years of camo. I'm not sure what that means, but I will take it. Thank you, Eric. So it is supposed to be nice this weekend. I am hoping to get out so we can do a little shooting as well. And so I am excited to do that. I don't really have any other like new gear or new stuff to report. I have a, here we are. Yes. Bob is with us, Gideon Optics.
Party on, Wayne. I am sad though for last week missing the cool episode. I wanted to be on there. At the same time, again, it was state darts. It was my vacation. Joe made it. Kudos to Joe.
I wasn't there all week like you were. I traveled in on Thursday and didn't do anything else where you were out and about already.
Oh, man. I've been there since Monday. A week in Sioux Falls. If anyone's ever been to Sioux Falls for a week, don't do it. It's not worth it. Ever. But I really did want to be there because I definitely wanted to chime in just because I think Prism optics are the way to go for any situations in a rifle. And I can debate anyone who wants to comment about that in the chat later, but that's just my take.
Yes, I have one thing that I did get this week that I'm excited to kind of start working with. I got a new micro chest rig and just gonna run it. It's a cheap one, and I just want to beat the hell out of it and see how it holds up. Mike, good to hear from you again. And that was a definite wonderful night to go have cigars in Georgia. But now I know we've been having people ask for it. We do have a bunch of things that came in that via Instagram, Facebook, a couple in the email, and some even on Dang Free.
I want to start. I have a question first. I need to know about your conversation from earlier.
Which conversation?
The one that you sent the snap of with your two thumbs and talking to feds.
Oh, that was not there was one agent involved in that. And I have had a couple of unique experiences where this was nothing on the bad side. It was somebody buying their first suppressor, and they went through. They just happened to be an employee of the federal government, and they were going through, and we were talking about things, and he was being very, very cautious and wanted to make sure paperwork was done right, even though it was his agency that was going to do a background check. And as all this went through, we were talking about things, and when the topic of, like the tax stamp came up for his can, I mentioned that, well, legally speaking, which this is for, the best kind of correct, which is technically correct. The only person who can legally ask you to see your stamp is an ATF agent. Now, that said, local law enforcement can hold you until an ATF agent shows up to discern the status of your stamp or item. And one thing, Dusky, yes, you can drop all your questions in there as you do it. We'll just get to them as we can. And but that was just one where he had no idea about that. And he did not know. He's like, really? I thought that was just when I explained that it was actually like a federal tax document. He went, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." And I go, "Yeah, it's just nobody ever puts those things together."
Okay. Yeah, when you had said that, I wasn't sure if they stopped by and where somebody had asked you something or what it was.
No, this was just like we were educating someone who didn't know, and they were purchasing their first silencer. They just happened to have an employer.
All right. Well, do we want to start with questions in the chat or the ones from Facebook or Instagram?
We have one chat from Dang Free.
Okay.
And this is from Dutch Walker. And he says, or he asks, when mounting an adjustable gas block, what is the best way to align it? Garth, do you have an opinion?
First of all, did you assume Dutch Walker's gender?
I did.
All right, read the question again, because that was what I fixated on right away.
When mounting an adjustable gas block, what is the best way to align it?
Oh yeah, Nick, you should totally take this. I mean, unless Joe has an opinion.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe.
Put it on. Does it work? No. I'm gonna fuck until it does. And
no, yeah.
Garth, turn your mic down just a little bit.
Oh no, you want me to turn it down? Me.
Well, or just not yell.
I'm not yelling. How's that? Is that better?
It's very dulcet.
I'll show you dulcet.
No. So the correct answer for if you're going to adjust that is use the dimple on the barrel, which should be there. And then you would line that up with your set screws and push it in and then dimple index off. Otherwise, use a dimple jig that indexes off the gas hole. So you put a dimple in the bottom of it to tighten the set screw up. It's generally just right straight across the barrel from it. And if you don't have a dimple jig and want to build a lot of ARs, I highly recommend getting one. They're about $30 on Brownells, and they have they're an amazing tool to have. That is a great asset, but that is how you do it. Is most quality barrel manufacturers are putting barrel or dimples on the bottom of their barrels now, so they are aligned, so you can use that as an alignment tool. So that, and we got a $2 Rumble rant.
Here, good question here, too.
From 556 the Pata 308, and he says, as I pull it up here on the,
I got it. I want to add new parts into AR-15 and was told it's better to build one rather than buy parts to an already pre-built one. What are your opinions? Thanks in advance. In my opinion, it's fine. If you're upgrading, upgrade your parts. We talked about that a few episodes ago where that's the nice thing about AR-15s. You can buy the less expensive ones and upgrade as you go on. We're actually going to we're going to do that with my PCC that I'm going to run all year. I have it, $600 paid for it, at $700 in upgrades, and we're going to see if there's a difference. And I say, if you buy what you can afford, then upgrade as you can.
So this is going to shock no one that I have an opinion. As Garth tries not to laugh.
Because we had the conversation already today. But go on. Do you think?
So with having an opinion on this, I truly do believe that one of the biggest problems people have, specifically when you're building an AR or your first one, is the internet is a problem. Because people will read it and they go, okay, what is the best gas block? And then you dump hours and hours and hours of research and you find the best gas block. And then you go, okay, what's the best barrel? And you go through and you put all these parts together that are all the best. And everyone's like, yeah, these are great. But they were all designed to fix a problem and they don't always work together.
And a lot. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and working with that, sometimes you will have issues where it's like, I put all the best parts in this, but it doesn't work out. And that becomes an issue where when you do upgrades, a lot of times the stacking tolerances and you'll build things go through there. And because I've seen it on both sides of it, where if you just go out and go, okay, this because you found, X part list, making sure they all work together can sometimes be problematic.
Yeah, I think Klecker hit it right there in the chat where he said it depends on the build's purpose. If I'm building a precision 223 and I want to shoot 400, 500, 600 meters and shoot, sub MOA, that's a whole different build than what I need to build in a race gun.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the trigger is going to be different, the muzzle brake, everything about it. So yeah, but I think like Dick said, do your homework, but what you buy, make sure it's something that you're going to need and upgrade, and only do like maybe one thing at a time and make sure it's running correctly. Don't throw a whole bunch of new stuff on it and then be like, uh-oh, now I don't know what's causing the issue.
Yes, and Dutch Walker, thank you for the Beers for the Crew chat that you sent through. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Vince Hall did say one thing, though, and I am going to very much so agree with this. Rifle speed should be standard. That rifle speed adjustable gas block is amazing. I have one. I love it.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just rolling up to another question we had earlier.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what you guys said. I agree with Joe and Nick both. Guys, just because they are the best parts doesn't mean they're going to work together. You build the best because you want the best, but sometimes the best of everything doesn't work together. I've seen it because I've tried it and I got super frustrated, and that's why I buy stock now all the time. So as a guy who's not a adult Lego builder in the AR world, that's why I don't, but things happen. So yeah, I totally agree with what Joe said and what you said, Nick, 100%. So
we have another question here from Eric. Eric asks, when stocking 5.56 ammo for an MR 5.56, should I only invest in 77 grain open tip match? I'm going to be honest and say that depends, which is the coward's way out of that question. But the reason why I say it like that is that what your rifle shoots best? And is that what you're going to primarily use? I have a ton of 55 grain ball ammo because I shoot it a lot for training. I shoot it a lot for practice. I shoot it in competition. I have other things that I have, a lot of 55, or I have a lot of 68 grain open tip match that I use because I have rifles that shoot them better than other things. I do have, I didn't invest in a ton of 77 grain. I keep that in lower quantities because I don't go through it as fast. But again, when I talk about keeping ammo quantities on hand, we discuss it at a level that is slightly higher than the average bear, I think.
I mean, can we be real for a second? Is 55 the standard? Like, I get there's a lot of grains out there, but is 55 the standard?
I would say yes. I think if you're gonna find your random PMC or Wolf, like when they used to buy all the Wolf steel, it was all 5.5. It was all 50.
That's
what most people are gonna buy, and that's what you're gonna run. I think when you start looking at the heavier stuff, it's when you want to get into more precision or stuff that's tailored to your rifle. If you just want to go to the dump and shoot appliances, 5.5 or 55 grain all day long because it's going to be cheaper, and you're not doing anything special with it.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, that's a standard. So I mean, if your gun can't manage and run that fluently, coherently. No, I get there's guys out there that only shoot so many rounds a year and stuff, but like if your gun can't go out and handle that, then
there's also, I'm not going to say that because there are specifically, like, depending upon what your barrel twist is, there are specific things that are built out to handle different weights, and that's where knowing your gun and what it shoots best. If what it shoots best is 77 grain, then by all means, because like if you got a 1-7 twist and you want to make sure you're always shooting sub MOA, then 100%. That's where the type of shooting you're doing comes in, much like Joe had said.
No, 100%. I'm not saying don't do it because of that reason.
No, I think what Garth's saying is if you can't just go buy any 5.5 55 grain off the shelf and your rifle won't cycle or you're getting stovepipes and stuff like that, then there's something wrong with the rifle. If you have to shoot 62 or 77 to get your rifle to run correctly, the rifle there's something wrong internally.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
So I do agree with that. That's why I was saying we will run that through as we go. And we have one more here. And Joe, this question is for you from Logan Dimmick.
Ooh.
Thoughts on Yankee Hill integrally suppressed upper? I feel like you guys touched on this a couple episodes ago, but I forgot.
We're working on it yet.
Yeah,
we had it. I've got it. It's built. It runs kind of. The issue we're running into right now is Nick and I reloaded or made a whole bunch of 300 blackout brass out of 22355, just brass that we had laying around. We had the jig, we cut it, we formed it. It's hanging up every once in a while. Most of my 110s that I've had for 12 years.
I was gonna say, in our defense, it's all 12-year-old ammo too.
Yeah. So we're running into that. The 209 subs that I got from Nick, it'll shoot 2 or 3, and then it doesn't go into battery.
And I do think that's from when we built the brass.
I think I'm 100. We're going this weekend. I've got subsonic brass that I bought, or I got subsonic rounds that I bought at Shields when I was in Sioux Falls. We're going to try them. Nick gave me a 20 a box of 110s, factory 110s. It shot through that stuff, not without a problem. I went to my 110s that we had reloaded out of the 40 that we had left in mags that had been in mags for 12 years. I had 3 where it didn't go into battery. Pulled it. So right now, I can't answer what I think of it because we have to eliminate what is probably an ammo issue before we can. And once we get good brass to reload or just a good supply of factory subsonic, we'll let you know. But I'm leaning towards it's gonna be nice. The few subs that I did get out of it, you couldn't even hear.
Yeah, and those are great. I do like those. But you know what I like about shooting those subsonics? I like them almost as much as I like VZ grips. And the unique features of VZ grips, they're machined from a solid block of G10. And it's great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions are available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard slim palm swells, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. And this coupon code is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips. And that code is AR-15 podcast.
Well, you know what I like about the question we had from Logan Dimmick just now is that if you're slapping on a sticker on your gun case, ammo can, or truck window, make sure it's one that actually sticks. At Sticker Phantom, we print high-quality American-made stickers and labels that hold up under tough conditions, just like the gear you rely on, whether you're repping your brand, marking your mags, or just want something that screams America. We've got you covered. No cheap imports, no weak adhesives, just damn good stickers. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Just damn good stickers. Check them out at stickerphantom.com and use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off your first order, because freedom deserves a better sticker. So
how come I haven't got my Bluey's pack yet?
I have them. I've had them in a bag at my house for like 3 weeks. I am so sorry.
Is it Bluey and Mickey?
Yeah, so because of Logan and his Sticker Phantom, and thank you so much for being a sponsor, we have Bluey. So I'm trying,
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie and Bluey both. And guys, these are two of the stickers you could have with us if you're watching live. Steamboat Willie, which is basically Mickey Mouse with an AR, and then Bluey. If you have a child, you know who Bluey is. I watched Bluey the other night because I was bored at 1:30 in the morning and it happened to be on TV. I just I want to check out Bluey. Cool show. Like
I still want this run to go.
Yeah, I mean, Hank Hill, we can make that happen because obviously we have a sticker guy now. So super cool.
Yep. And well, as we go through here, Dusty put a Rumble rant in as well that isn't there. And that is, how often do you check your zero on ARs? How often do you find out that it actually needs adjustments? Does it depend on the optic and other factors?
If you shoot it enough, you're always checking it.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're out there all the time, it's, if it's starting to move on you. I was always one of those people, like, I couldn't understand why the guys that went deer hunting always had to go to the range when they go hunt. They walk 100 yards, shoot their deer, put their rifle back in the safe for the year. Those guys, the reason it moves is they don't shoot it enough and they change their sight pictures.
Or they change ammo or something like that. If you're changing brands of ammo,
grains of ammo, or grain,
grain, weight. Those are also issues. If you're doing a major change like that, there will be a little bit of POI shift when you put a can on, so you should be cognizant of that and where to aim. And like anytime you do a major change, you should check it. And by that I mean like muzzle device, barrel, all of those things. But I will say it's not that they get checked often. I have rifles. So last week I went out and I ran that up downs. And when I did that, I pulled my M16A4 out and I went on the corner of the target where there was a marking and went, okay, I'm at 25 yards, and standing, put a 3-round group to make sure, like, as a confirmation of zero.
Yeah, I think anytime you get to the range, your first couple rounds or 3 to 5 rounds, if you've got something you can shoot at to make sure it didn't get bumped, kids didn't play with it, something like that. Anytime you're going to the range, it's not a bad idea to make sure your first few rounds are just confirming that zero.
Whoa. What do we think we all live in South Dakota where the kids play with guns? Come on, Joe. No, I agree with both what you guys said. I mean, honestly, if you're not going out to the range every 6 months with your gun, what are you doing? Because why are you listening to our show? Because we all know that anyone who listens to our show
is learning. That's why they're listening.
Well, no, they're here. If anyone's listening to the show right now, they know to go to the range more than 6 months. Every 6 months. They're going at least month, because we talk about training all the time. So,
or they're just getting into it and they're just learning, and that's okay.
And it 100% is.
Yeah. So, but there's your answer. There's your answer, Dusky. Zapata says what he's looking at for the upgrade is a Superlative Arms adjustable gas block with gas tube, Surefire muzzle brake, supercharging handle, and a braided wire buffer spring and combo from Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Those are all solid ads. I have installed the Superlative Arms gas blocks several times. They are good. Surefire muzzle brakes are not my favorite, but that's just a personal thing. And charging handles, I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Pick the one you like and run it.
Looking at his list, the only things that are really going to affect how the fire or how it runs is the gas block, which you're going to be able to play with, your buffer and spring kit, which I don't know what weight the spring is,
and the bolt carrier group.
Yep. That's what I was getting to. Those 3 things right there. So that's the nice thing about having that adjustable gas block is you're going to be able to work. You can work on 2 ends of the gun. You can work at the gas end, or you can work on the spring end. Or like in my race gun, I've got the adjustable gas block and I've got the silent capture spring with the different weights so that it gives you a lot more tunability. So I think that's what you have to realize is with what he's doing there, it's almost like tuning a small block Chevy with getting your timing and your jets right to make sure everything runs correctly. So there, you might have to play around with it, but yeah, I think it'll run.
Vince, the answer is yes. But anyways, another one. Dusky, man, you keep popping them in. I appreciate it. This is another $2 Rumble rant from Dusky. Are 22 long rifle conversion kits field expedient? If I were in the woods doing swamp rat shit with my AR, would it be a viable option to switch those out really quickly to nab some small game? Hashtag squirrel.
Yes.
No, yes. I have one that my daughter runs in the rifle she built. Accuracy is there. For those that don't know, 22 long rifle and 223 actually have the same bullet diameter.
They do, but
How does it chamber though?
So how it chambers. Now, these are something that for those of us who've been in the Army a hot minute, we used to do 22 conversions in our bolts in the M16s. So how it chambers is the bolt and charging handle come out, and then you will replace the bolt with the conversion kit. And that conversion kit is milled to be the same size as the chamber on a 223. So when it chambers, it has the internal bolt that the bolt moving part actually is just inside the bolt replacement. And that's the only moving piece that changes. It doesn't actually go back into the buffer tube. And it's, yes, Dusky, it is a quick swap. It's just a bolt and a mag. And then it chambers the 22.
Until you drop it in the mud.
You chamber the 22 long rifle cartridge into its own chamber inside the bolt. And then as that runs through, it just runs your 22 ammunition into the barrel. So it has its own chamber built into the conversion kit.
I'm a good Andrew right here. He says CMMG kit works best for me, and I love them very much. But here's the kicker of that whole conversion kit: a 22. If you take your Smith & Wesson M&P 22 rifle, super fun gun. They do not have a gas system. So if you drop the bolt system into a AR in a competition setting, the noise is very reduced because of the gas block system. And so the timer will not pick it up. So while it is quieter than a normal 22, I mean, it's not like suppressed quiet, but it is quieter. So those are things to consider if you were going to do that in the future for anyone listening.
Yeah, for what Dusky was talking about, like just having something if you want to take small game with, works awesome for that. The Colt kits did have some issues. The CMMGs are good. Colt's issues came from mags more so than what the CMMGs were. They used I might know where there's a bunch of those mags. Yes.
Were they Colt or which ones were they?
Colt. They did not look like a standard AR mag. They had like a weird, like thin banana-y thing that came out, and it was ungood. No, your gas tube does not become a suppressor with a 22 conversion, but it does have gas bleed off.
Yes.
And the answer to everyone's question about this is get the CMMG kit.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're super cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I had one, loved it so much. I ran it for competition. I couldn't get picked up on the timer. I sold to Nick for his daughter, and that worked fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what the thing was about the Smith & Wesson bolt. It was the
you've got to be with that one. You've got to be from running it, and with I run a M&P just like Garth does. You've got to be closer to the muzzle than the
port.
Oh, very correct. Yes, very close. Yeah,
and there's some people that are afraid to do that when they're
running the timer.
Not running the timer.
Yeah.
All right.
Andrew said he's got the 15, the integrally suppressed. That might be one of my next purchases. Is the Gemtech 1522 integrally suppressed upper, just for fun, because I love my 1522. That is one of my favorite rifles. One of my favorite guns to just play with.
I just wish we had a swamp up here so I could do a swamp.
Well, we do. We just call them sloughs.
Oh, but yeah. That's fair.
Yep.
Maybe we should go visit some weekend. We'll just go
to Florida.
You have no idea how much I would love to go shoot a gator. Shoot him! Shoot him!
He is. If you're so anyone who is on Dang Free, you will or the We Like Shooting Rumble, you'll see pictures of Dusky, or not of Dusky. Dusky will post pictures of himself with spiders and gators and the rest of the snakes and creatures of the swamp.
Yeah, that just reminds me. If you are not on dangfree.net, why aren't you yet? Because it is super fun. You can hang out with Joe, you can hang out with Nick, you can hang out with me. I'm not on there much anymore, but I try to be. But the whole host of the Firearms Radio Network is on there. And if you're not there yet, come join us. We have a great time there.
Yes, indeedy. All right, now, so we've had the questions coming in from Rumble. Why don't we go back and hit some of those Instagram questions?
All right, let's start with Instagram. Which one do you start with?
Well, you have it pulled up, so why don't you pick, and we will start asking.
I've got one if Joe's looking.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'd like to put together a good bug out bag. Any of you guys have or work with any recommendations? Like, what do you guys run? This came from also Logan Dimmick because he hit me up earlier, and I told him my opinion, but I want to hear your guys' opinion because I'm a Vertex guy. Every bag I own is Vertex, but my Vertex bag is not to go bug out. My Vertex bag is to get me home. Because, yeah.
So bug out bag, get home bag, however you want to say it, those are all synonymous in my eyes.
Okay.
Because it's like there is a difference between bugging out and getting home. Like it depends where you're at. Like that's why I say most people use those terms interchangeably.
Yeah,
it's like if you're talking, well, I'm just going to call it a 72-hour pack. Is that fair?
No, that's 100% fair.
Joe, do you have an opinion?
I mean, it depends. Are you saying society's fell, I need to get out of the city? Or is it like Garth, society fell, he's in Sioux Falls and just needs to get back to Oneida? I mean,
so I'll steal a tractor to get home if I'm in Sioux Falls. There's plenty of tractors around.
Yeah, that's me. You're gonna get to where you need to go. I
think it's if we say just a 72-hour peg. Like, what do you have a choice or a preference?
Like in the bag or
yeah,
like the brand of bag, yes.
No, I don't. I've got my Can-A it's not their Legion, whatever one it was with the helmet pack on it that I use pretty much for everything. Goes to drill with me. It's what I pack if I'm traveling by myself. My bug out bag is my vehicle.
I'm glad you mentioned that the Can-A bags though.
Because of that Raiders.
Yep. Rebels Raiders is a company. This guy rebuilt the Can-A brand, and it has the helmet carrier with bungees and everything like that. I'm disappointed I bought a replacement bag before I saw this one because I really wanted one of the Can-A bags.
I love mine. If I've got to have my stupid helmet with me at guards, it's a lifesaver. And then when I don't need it for throwing anything else in there, like my boots or my shoes, something that I don't want to throw in the bag with clothes or just cumbersome to carry, I can just throw it in there. It's big enough. I can get a weekend's worth of clothes in it. I've had mine since 2019. Like I took it to Denmark with me, and I have not had any issues with it. The only issue I have is there is a wear on the inside from when I was using it to ruck, and I had weights in the inside.
Yeah, so I have it up on screen for anyone watching this Rebels Raiders.
It is.
It is ostensibly the same as the Can-A pack.
100% the same thing.
And
the belt on it is nice. Like if you
padded kidney belt.
It is. I love mine, and
they're a solid pack. These are one I would like to get and try it out just because I like the design. It has a lot of different compartments and just seems to be really well thought out. I know there's even some reviews popping up on them, and it does have the removable belt, which is nice. So again, that's one that I'm excited for. Personally, I run a ton of Eberly stock packs.
Eberly stock is good.
Those are my go-tos. And I have a mystery ranch that I started rucking with last year. That's probably the most comfortable ruck I've ever owned. And for the new bag I'm using when we go out and do range stuff for camera gear, I bought to do as my night vision helmet bag because it had the helmet carrier, and that is a Condor, which I know bag of the pores. Somebody can yell at me about it later, but it's a solid pack from what I've used on it so far. It has the beaver tail, and I can't remember what model it is. I suppose I have a computer machine in front of me, so I could quickly, furiously Google what it is that I got. It's their newest, kind of more modern-y line of pack, and I really like it. I think it's important to have the versatility, but also look at features. One of the big features I think you're going to want to have if you're looking at a bug out bag or something of that nature is you want to make sure that you have a waist belt, because having that kidney belt, if you're going to be using it for going any sort of distance, is a very, very good thing to have.
I wore my Can-A on that Norwegian Ruck March, and it was awesome. And yeah, use the stuff that's on it, use that chest, even the chest hook. So
yeah, take it from somebody who has done a lot of rucking. I still do it for fun, and that is, kidney belts are what you want to have. That is
learn how to actually pack your ruck. If you intend to wear it for more than a mile, learn how to pack them correctly and the weight disbursement, because it makes a huge difference.
Yes, and that is probably the best advice we can give you is learn how to pack it. And yes, the Eberly Stock half track is too big for that event. But I would seriously look at this Rebels Raiders. The guy's going through everything with that, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
511 also makes some good bags. The Rush packs, I think, are good, but we'll move on from there because I think we have beat packs to death.
All right. We've got Chapstick Quotes on Instagram asked, what's the worst that could happen if a 22 round or a 22 long rifle factory round was double charged or overcharged? Can you even get something like that? What would happen with a pistol cartridge?
Okay, so this is where we're going to get weird because I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, so I will go last.
I mean, depending on what you're shooting, I mean, that's what your plus Ps are extra or hot loads. So until you reach that maximum pressure of the case in your chamber, you're just going to get hotter rounds until, boom, it blows up. The case blows out the primer. I've got some 110 grain 308s that I have had blow primers out on my DPMS, AR-10, and my Savage bolt guns. And I may have seen one blow up an M14. So you don't want to get too hot.
Yes. Garth, anything for you on this? No. Okay.
No. I've been chatting in the comments. Sorry.
No. So. All right. Now. Yes. This can be a thing, but while overcharges can be an issue, generally having incorrect powder is a bigger issue. I carry around a piece of metal in my face from a 45 ACP in a brand new 1911. That was factory ammo, and it was incorrect powder, and it blew up in my hands and my face. And it's the reason why I'm huge on wearing eye protection. But so I've had that happen to me. We caused a nationwide, or there was a nationwide Fender or federal ammunition recall after that. But as we went through,
that's true.
What?
The whole story you just told, 100% true.
Yeah, so that happened. I that it happened to me. But as we shot kept going with it, with a 22 long rifle, you're not going to have enough case volume generally to cause a major issue.
I was just going to ask that. Like, even if you filled it to the top or as far as you could fill it and got that slug back in there so it was packed tight, I feel like it would either be so tight it wouldn't burn, but I don't think there'd be enough pressure to.
Yep, it is. It's the size of everything holding them in. Like, yes, it can go off, and there can case and the rim and everything can go off. It's bad when those things happen, so there can be failures, but you generally will not do damage.
I don't know. Dusty says he couldn't hear for a while.
That's fair, but you wear ear pro.
You also drive a smart car.
That's why I was shooting 22. I didn't want to wear ear pro.
But now when you move on into not as much with pistol cartridges as much, because you can double charge. I've shot several double charges or charge and a halves in my lifetime because things happen. That's not as big of an issue. But when you move into rifle cartridges, especially like large rifle cartridges, the biggest problem turns into not being overcharged but undercharged. So here you go. Strap in. We're gonna go on a journey.
Oh, here comes the rabbit hole.
Back in the day, like way back when we were still using a lot of black powder cartridges, they would actually put an undercharge into some of the rounds, because when the primer would detonate, so like a centerfire cartridge, but was still using black powder, like 4570 or even the 30 Winchester centerfire, when those were still black powder cartridges, they would undercharge them. And this was something that they even did moving on into some of the early smokeless cartridges. But they would undercharge them so that when the round would lay flat in the chamber, when the primer ignited, it would ignite all of the powder at once, creating an overpressure spike. And there was, I want to say Gain did it back in the day. Gain created a lot of like extreme long range testing or records, and he made his own twist for rifles that was really neat. That's a whole nother story when I talk about Gain twist. But it would ostensibly turn him into a little pipe bomb, and you could very easily have stuff blow up. And when we went through this, the first time I heard about it was guys were talking about how this had happened, and they used to do it to get more power out of things. But it was actually with guys fire forming brass, like trying to make some of the Shytac and Ackley improved stuff where they're like, oh, I need just enough to get a bullet down the bore. So they would undercharge it, and they wound up blowing up their guns with like 10 grains of powder because they just made a little mini grenade.
Is that how they was it Vietnam when they supposedly sabotaged drones and dropped
No,
them off?
that was a whole nother thing. But yeah, that was they took cases of ammo and they actually swapped the propellant out with an explosive.
Okay, they use a full explosive.
They actually made that. Yeah, that was a completely different thing that they made to go kablooey. But no, that was a thing. And that's one of those like, oh, hey, this is a weird rabbit hole from history to go down. So, Bob, there you go. Now you got a random bit of rabbit hole that you said you hadn't heard in a while. But that is one where underloading can actually be a larger issue than overpressure sometimes.
All right. Do we got any more questions from the chat? Are they?
No.
All right.
No,
So we'll go to Facebook. Jim Rawls asks, if you're setting up an ATF eForm account, but you're thinking of setting up a trust, do you need to have the trust all done first? Would I have an individual eForm account and a trust eForm account? It's been a long time since I bought anything. Now having regrets about not having a trust to begin with. I can answer the second part of that. You only need one eForms account, regardless if you're running a trust, if you're buying on a trust or buying. My first two came on a trust. The one I just bought from Nick came on individual, and I use the same eForms account. So
the answer is one.
I would say you're pretty sure you have to have the trust done before you can submit your form.
Well, what he's asking about is the eForms account. Trust does not matter to eForms account. Also, you do not need a trust for NFA items.
Don't buy a trust anymore. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Well, not entirely. There are specific situations in which having a trust is not bad.
Yeah.
But that is specific to different people.
Yeah.
Just because different people have different situations, so there are people who still elect to have a trust. And some of that is for people who cross state lines with NFA items other than silencers. So it makes it much easier to have multiple people on a trust listed at locations. So when they move things back and forth, it lives in all locations.
No, I understand
so,
that. But
that's where we can't, I refuse to do a blanket issue. I will say for 99% of people buying silencers, trusts are not needed.
Okay.
Because if you're worried about them for inheritance, you still have the option to do upon death a Form 5, which is a once in a lifetime of the individual non-taxable transfer.
If I've got teenage kids, can they take my suppressors out if they're on the trust? Can they be on the trust?
Yes, but legally, so this is one of those where it gets weird. Legally to own, you have to be 21 in order to purchase. As far as use, that gets into some weird gray things with state laws, because I haven't seen any proper federal things listed as that. That is a firearms attorney question that I am not going to comfortably answer.
That would be, I'm leaning into, that would be a good reason to have a trust. So my kid's in college right now. He moves in with us when my wife has said he can move back in with us when he's done. I don't know why. Or he's living down the street, comes over, says, "Hey, I want to borrow one of the rifles with the suppressor on it, say the Hellbreaker." If he's on the trust, we don't have anything to worry about. So if that's where it becomes what fits your situation best. I got a buddy lives in Sioux Falls. He has a trust. It's him, his wife, and his dad. So that way his wife can take the suppressors to and from his dad's place and back, or vice versa. So that, yeah, it all depends really on what you're doing with them.
So also, there's one other very important reason why you may want to buy in a trust. And so everyone, come in, listen close. I'm going to tell you something. Before, we get taken off the air unexpectedly for something, realize that you can, and also, I have no thoughts of harming myself, and I am very happy with my life. This is one interesting thing. So everyone around here, you guys know that people will buy land in trust, right? As an investment. And you can do that with pre-tax dollars, much like buying in trust for retirement. Did you know that legally, if you're buying in trust and you invest into the trust as an investment capital method, you can buy NFA items with pre-tax dollars?
I had no idea.
Where am I getting the pre-tax dollars? They take it right out of my account. That's where everybody's like, we should stop paying taxes. How? They take it right out. It's not like I got to see them first.
As a small business owner and rancher, I don't have all that tax.
Yes, but for 99% of us that have have shitty jobs, they take it right out. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It does make sense.
Yeah, so you can purchase NFA items with pre-tax dollars if you're using it as an investment.
I feel like it's not an investment right now because
that's irrelevant right now. It is.
If we get the promises from the administration.
Hey, no, because buying machine guns, like is the only thing I can show you that yeah. Now, buying machine guns still go up in value. But anyways, we'll move on from there.
All right, and then Jim also had another non-AR question. Says, I know a guy that has a Mossberg Shockwave. The brace madness had settled on AR pistols, but I've heard that the Shockwave type devices are still under some scrutiny from the Fed boys. Can you or would you brace a Shockwave, or just pay the government $200 and get robbed?
Go on.
So, Garth, have you had this happen to you before?
I actually have had this happen to me before. 100%.
So, one of the things that gets interesting when you come to shockwaves and braces and things of that nature is so in order to be considered, the shockwave is neither fish nor fowl nor good red meat. It is a firearm. It is not a shotgun. It is not a rifle, and it is not a handgun. Officially, it is listed as a
other.
No, well, it's listed as a firearm. It's not an other. It's just a firearm.
Okay.
Gideon Optics asked this quick, and I'm going to interrupt myself. Do you think someday transferable machine guns will become so expensive there won't be a market for them? The answer to that is yes. It's already, well, it depends. If we keep inflation going at the rate it was, that's a thing. But it is definitely, there will be people who always have money to buy them. But that's a side note. Now, because of the way the ambiguity and the thing of how it was written, it is because it is a short-barreled, it's a short-barreled rifle is this, and a short-barreled shotgun is this. But because there is no definition for a pistol or stockless shotgun, it was listed as a firearm because it met the minimum barrel or minimum length restrictions of 24 inches. So with the bird's head grip being on it, they were able to go down shorter, and then they would have, it was a firearm, but it was not a handgun, which is where you get into trouble with mounting a pistol brace to it. So you get into weird ambiguity, which is stupid, and it is both gay and retarded. Not the gun, but the law.
And Trump's our president, so we can say that now.
Well, you know what else we can say now? Are you in need of a reliable custom Kydex holster? Klecker Tactical is your one-stop shop using premium USA source material. Klecker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors along with light and laser options. Whether you're in law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust that Klecker Tactical will provide every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as custom and quality products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off at kleckertactical.com.
Yeah, I got mine. It actually showed up while I was at State Arts. Had it on a couple times. Very, it's comfortable. My first appendix carry one. So it's
I wore mine all day.
Good.
This one, and he will build what you need. This is a special, like he had to rig some stuff up because I've got my 365 XL with 4.5-inch fuse slide on it with a light. So he's like, I'll get you something, and it fits perfect. He didn't have it. He mocked stuff up. I saw what he did, and it's loving it.
I mean, to be fair, he's working on a pocket holster for me right now for my 365, which I can't wait to rock. But again, I have the laces out holster here for my platypus on the wall. There it is. Oh, there. Yeah. And super awesome holster for the platypus. So Klecker Tactical has knocked it out of the park for myself, Joe, and Nick, because I know we all have holsters from him, and they've been fantastic. So guys, if you're looking for a super reliable tight fit holster, definitely check out Collector Tactical.
And you can get this. You can get this one with or without the sidecar. I know Nick, you commented on the Facebook post or the post that we had, or Instagram post we had of it, that you run it without the sidecar. So,
yeah, I run one without the sidecar. I really like it for my appendix rig. Now, as we keep going, let's hit the next question. Everyone's talking about 5D chess and buying machine guns if they hit the lottery. And yes, that is a good idea.
So that does bring up a good question. Let's say the NFA does go away. You think those things are hard to get now? What do you think happens when you can't?
So now here's the thing.
You think it goes into everybody starts building?
Now, the NFA and the GCA go away. That doesn't actually solve the problem of new machine guns. We need the Hughes Amendment to go away.
But from Dave said, like, if they're going to do this, it's basically you start with the most recent one and start backing your way.
Yeah, the Hughes Amendment's the most important one.
Is that the one from the 20s, or is that the
Hughes Amendment happened in May of 1986?
That's the 86 one. Okay.
Yep. And what that was what made it illegal to create civilian transferable machine guns. From that point forward, you could still make dealer samples, but you could no longer make so all of the transferable machine guns are pre May of 1986.
Oh, they're pre-Garth. Cool.
And that's where that goes through, and it's not an issue, but that's where that came in, because if you could have transferable civilian machine guns again. So if we got rid of the Hughes Amendment and it was just like, oh, hey, now we can make transferable machine guns again, you would see a proliferation of them in a lot of ways, because there are.
So we don't even really need to get rid of, at this point, the NFA. We just need to get rid of the Hughes Amendment, because then
we can buy machine guns.
Then it just goes back to flying back. All right, makes sense.
All right, we got to the question.
Dusky put another Rumble rant in here. What are some common failure points on bolt carrier groups? What about the carrier itself? I hear a lot about bolt parts itself, but not the carrier. For instance, have you ever seen issues with the inner chrome? Generally, the answer to that is yes, but also no. I've seen more issues from the inner chrome caused by someone with a pick than by actual wear. BCGs, when you're talking about bolt carrier groups, the most common issue that will come up is gas rings on your bolt. I know that has been beat to death a lot. There's an easy way to test for that. If you pull your bolt out and snap it out so that the bolt is all the way out, and then set the bolt on the carrier group on a table, it should support its own weight. If it automatically goes down, your rings are bad and you need to put new rings in. The other most common thing is improperly staking of the gas key. And that will cause issues because it will be loose and you will not get the fitment that is flush, and will not have proper cycling because of that. Generally, those are the biggest things, and then occasionally there's some stuff with firing pins that get too dirty, but that's at like over 20,000 rounds.
And honestly, with BCGs, especially if you're just trying to go out and shoot and you're not trying to fine tune a race gun to not have any recoil, the $80 Brownells one, like just your standard run of the mill, is going to be all you need. You don't have to get all the plated and stuff like that. That's where you'll start running into issues too, is if you start looking at the special plated ones, the tolerances on them, if the quality control isn't right, you'll be out of spec, or some of them are out of spec.
Yes. All right. Next question.
Well, the only other question we have on Instagram from Firearms Insider asks, what trigger should they use for a 10.5-inch piston AR, and why should it be the Black Talon Tactical?
So now I have to Google Black Talon Tactical.
I'm looking them up on Instagram. It's just a drop-in trigger.
But
honestly, when it comes to what trigger you need, what are you doing with it? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a 22-inch precision rifle or a 10-inch or a 7-inch short barrel rifle that you're closest.
Oh, this is unique. I could get down with this. This is cool. So,
are you liking that extra hook?
No, I found something else. I'm going to share it. They have adjustment for your weight. This is from 2 pounds to 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. So that is cool that it has a unique adjustment system.
Can I adjust that without taking or taking it out of the lower though?
That would depend upon how big actually it looks like you probably can on a lot, depending upon how your trigger shoe hole is cut.
Okay. But then you have to get in there. Yeah, that would be. So maybe that's what's neat about that one is.
I was gonna say that's pretty rad. Like I can get down with that. The other I'm going to say the same thing I always do. Run JP enhanced springs, not reduced springs. And I'm going to answer your question in just a second. Why would you use anything other than 2 pounds? Because there is a reason for that.
There's a lot of reasons.
But I'm going to say on an 11.5-inch gun, I run polished triggers with JP enhanced. We did have somebody ask about reduced pressure. That was in a short we did a while ago. They talked about the reduced springs. I did answer them on there. I run the enhanced springs, not the reduced. So because they were saying they got light primer strikes because they were running a reduced power spring, which generally makes it less hard of a hit. But I digress. I think if you run an 11.5-inch gun, when I'm shooting in competition, I would say I can shoot fairly fast on the trigger. And I rarely find having that mil-spec trigger as a detriment.
I think, like, if you're shooting precision shooting, you need that adjustable what you can run. And I'm with you. Like, for most practical reasons, I'm saying like 3.5 to 4. You don't really need to go below that. Why wouldn't I go to a 2 pound? Well, if I'm hunting anywhere where I have gloves on or anywhere where I don't have that true feel. And the one I had to take out of my my race gun, the thing would just go into bump shot or into bump fire mode because it was so light. Like, and when I'm trying to shoot super fast, I couldn't have that because all of a sudden I've got 4 or 5 rounds going out when I only wanted 2.
Yeah, and I've also had it where I ran into some of the same things with too light of triggers. Like everyone says, like, oh, the gun should surprise you when it goes off. Yes, it should,
but not like a SIG and it's in the holster.
Yeah, or I mean, I have my competition M&P that has a 2-pound trigger in it, and I would never carry that gun or use it in a duty aspect because the trigger is just too light in it. There's a reason why duty guns generally have 6 to 7 pound triggers. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So do we have any other ones coming up? Yeah,
there was one. I'm trying to find who sent it. They actually sent it in chat a while back.
And Vince says lulz SIG, and I'm like, yep. But also the 3 of us shoot SIG more than anything else.
Correct.
I want to know if the grenading of them, not the going off in the holsters, because do me a favor, anyone that owns one, load it up, chamber it, set it in your safe, and tell me how long it takes before it goes off. Something is setting them off. But the grenading issue, where they don't go into battery or whatever, I've run 2 of them, and I've ran a lot of rounds through my X5. I've ran a lot of rounds through my my M17. I've not. The only issues I've had, I can guarantee you, were ammo related, because when I went through that case of ammo, the sizing on them was horrible. Like, I started having to pay attention when I was loading mags because they were bad. So is it like a heart attack? Like, there is no, if you make it past 500 rounds or 5,000 rounds, you're safe. Like, it could just let go at any time.
I don't know, but I've got a couple that are over 5.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was Ben Stoger just had a video he released this afternoon or this evening where he's back to talking about it, and everybody's trashing him. And one of the comments he read was from a guy that had him on a deployment, and they had nothing but issues. I'm like, but I go back to, we were down in Georgia with them. We didn't have any issues. Like, was there a first gen issue? Like, everything has issues its first time around, and then stuff plays out. I don't know.
Yeah, I do know that I've even seen it on some law enforcement stuff where they're going the training, some law enforcement training things where they're saying like, oh, if you have a SIG and it hasn't been upgraded to whatever, because there's one agency here semi-local to us that doesn't, not like local, but
no, I've seen many ranges that will not let you bring a SIG 320 to the range anymore. But again, majority of the people that shoot in our local club, the South Central Handgunners, are, especially the carry optics, are running the X5. And everybody says if you have them at the range long enough, you're going to see them blow up. I've yet to see one. And that's the military ones. That's with us shooting here. I don't know.
I've never seen one blow up.
What'd you say, Garth?
I've never seen one blow up.
Yeah.
I've dropped SIGs and I've never seen one go off. So like that whole myth to me is debunked.
I would, like Bob says here, I'm not scared of 320s. That said, looking at the internal mechanics in detail repeatedly, there are vulnerabilities, and I am not going to say that is not true. Mm-hmm. There are things they could have done better. I do know that it is kind of neat because you could give them the old Glock 18 treatment fairly easy from something I've looked at recently, and that would be kind of cool. But
yeah, I don't know. And I get to the point where I wonder how many, but I've seen stories of people claiming that they were at a match and 3 of them blew up in one day. Like, nothing corroborating it other than somebody coming on a forum and saying it. Is there enough SIG hate that people are just pulling stuff out of their asses at this point?
I'm gonna say yes, but I have also seen I've seen Berettas explode. I've seen 1911s explode. I've seen Glocks explode. I've seen I've seen almost every gun fail in a spectacular fashion.
Yeah. And do you think it just had to, because we're in a Call of Duty world, all the kids, everybody likes their cool, it's the military gun, so everybody runs out and buys it. You saw that many that quick?
I think that there's it's a stacking tolerances issue, and there's multiple things happening multiple places. But I want to answer Vince's question, because this one's near and dear to my heart. Is the problem with the 6.5 Grendel and related rounds of breaking bolts real? How can this be solved? Can I recommend the 6 ARC? Okay. Deep breaths.
Here comes the nerd.
So 6.5 Grendel, for those of you who didn't know, the parent case of that is actually 7.62 by 39. So it's a neck down 7.62 by 39 cartridge to make the 6.5 Grendel. So you use a 7.62 by 39 AR-15 or AR-15 bolt. That bolt was never designed to be there for longevity. It was we can make this work, we can make it fit, because the magazines are close enough in size where we can kind of make it work. But because it's communist, it doesn't work well with capitalism. And then as we go through, we said we can make it better. And then we tried something, and the 6.5 Grendel is like socialism, and it still breaks down, just not as fast as communism does. And as you go through with this, the reason why is because the bolt face doesn't have enough mass and material behind it. The way you would overcome this is by moving to, like, there are some, you could get into some of the more exotic materials for the bolt to have that, or getting a, if you wanted to do an in-between sized AR, I've heard of that happening. It's not a thing, but it is definitely the thing with this is it doesn't have enough surface area for the reason why it breaks is its lugs break off the bolt is what happens when they break, because the space in the bolt, it has to do with bolt thrust as that comes back and the locking and unlocking. And it will break, and it will break way faster than any of the 5.56 will, because strangely enough, that's what it was designed to do. You could upgrade and run it out of a 308, but at that point, instead of running something like that out of the short action, I would run 6.5 Creedmoor or something of the like. Garth took his headphones off because he didn't even want to listen to that.
I turned you up so I could hear you. Don't you put the evil on me, okay? I heard you.
So we had a question a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to find it so I get the words right. But it was a guy asking, how long can you store ammo? Going back to what we were talking about earlier, the issue
we have in our ammo for
is not because of where we stored it.
No, it is because 12 years ago when 300 Blackout first hit big, we bought a jig using a Harbor Freight, like the world's cheapest miniature cutoff saw.
Yeah.
And this jig from a guy on the internet.
And it worked. And then the other issue with that is, I'm sure we've got 5.56, 2.23, and there is a difference in those cases, especially if you're running like Lake City or there's a little bit of difference in there. So there could be a lot of things wrong with our ammo. But going back to that, the rounds that run through my Hellbreaker are running just fine. I mean, and they've been in the magazines in my garage since I got home from Afghanistan in 2014. So 11 years, and they were loaded 2 years before I left.
Yeah, I have.
As long as it's dry, and as long as the brass isn't corroded to the point where it doesn't feed,
I have a mag I've had loaded for 15 years. I should go out and shoot that.
I've got a box of Black Hills ammunition that is 15 years old, never been opened. I still have the plastic strap, like the tie downs on it from 15 years ago. It's on my shelf right now. 60 grain Black Hills ammunition, never been opened.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think the answer to that question is, as long as you keep it dry, it's gonna last pretty much forever. If it's in your basement on a rack or sitting in the guns in a safe or something like that, as long as you don't flood it, you're good to run your
cool dry place. That ammo will last.
Mm-hmm. So here you go. When we did the invasion of Iraq, back in the day, we were running.
You were there.
Yeah, I know. I said we were running.
I'm sorry.
Some of the almost all of the 50 I've shot came from Vietnam. We were shooting some from Korea. And I mean, I've recently shot ammo from Korea, from the Korean War conflict. And it still runs like a top.
Yeah. If you're buying spam cans, or you're buying even just green cans of ammo, you put it on the shelf, it's gonna be there when you need it. It's gonna go bang. If it was good to be
I know this has nothing to do with.
Jay Rawls says, I've been stacking 300 ammo with that Harbor Freight saw tipped by the protection plan. Yeah, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we didn't make, the ammo may have been manufacturer error by the guy running it, because they weren't Bubba's pissing hot reloads yet, because we figured we could drink and cut metal. And that would be safer than drinking and loading.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, this is nothing to do with ammunition, but you're reminding me of it. I watched The Greatest Beer Run Ever last night on Apple Plus. What a great movie! If you guys haven't checked it out, go do it because it talked about the Vietnam War and it's so cool. It's great movie. But that's besides the point. You just reminded me of that, Nick. It's super cool.
I literally thought you just said the Vietnam War was super cool.
No. I said the greatest.
Depends on who you talk to. There's some guys that had some good time.
I know some guys who served.
I know some dudes who were down with it.
Yeah, they very much were. No, I'm saying The Greatest Beer Run Ever, the movie based on the Vietnam War, was a great movie. But no, I do know some dudes who got their rocks off serving, but no.
No, and that's fine. That was just me giving you a hard time, bud.
I know.
Well, do we have any more questions here before we start to wrap this one up for the evening?
Joe, I don't have any
I know
earlier. Are we forgetting a sponsor? That's about the only question I got.
Whoa, I was gonna get there.
All right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, fine. We'll just go with it.
I didn't open the pack.
No, Joe, open it up. Open it up.
That's what I'm gonna do right here.
Open it up now. Nick's got it on screen, guys. If you're watching live, definitely come with me. I'm gonna pick my webcam up. We're gonna go over here. Look at this wall of awesome patches. Most of them are PatriotPatch.co. I'm gonna find my favorite one because my cord is super long.
That's not even the patch of the month, is it? No,
gosh, no. This is just my cord being.
This is the patch of the month right here.
There you go.
Oh yeah, short-tempered and the leprechaun.
Yeah, there we go.
But Nick, pull this over because I'm gonna show them my favorite patch of all time. Oh,
the turtle.
No, it's loyalty above all. That is one of Patriot Patch's most famous patches. I love that patch so damn much because I have some friends who are super loyal, super awesome, and that's what Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co is. Guys, if you want reliable patches of all time, go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co because you can get awesome patches like that. They have the Patch of the Month Club where you can get that one that Joe just showed. They have 10 signs. They have stickers. Go check them out. They have done
It's not just a random patch for the patch of the month. It's always themed to some sort of holiday or something going on in that month.
Correct.
It's only way you're going to get it.
And they've been sponsors of our show since our inception of being on the Firearms Radio Network. So please go check them out because they are awesome. And they're in South Dakota, and we're in South Dakota, and so we love them even more for it.
Yes, and Jake actually started the AR-15 podcast way back in the day.
Very correct. He did.
And now Vince asked maybe the most important question of all. And this was way back at the beginning of the show in the comments. And it's, what is the meaning in life? And I am going to say, and we're going to answer Dusky's next. But what is the meaning of life? And I'm going to take that as what is best in life. And what is best in life is to crush your enemies and see them driven before you and hear the lamentations of their women. But, yes, if anyone doesn't get that reference, you're too young. But, did you not get that reference, Garth?
Why are you looking at me?
So Dusky asked one more question. Should I buy more ammo and magazines?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever listened to Nick, but he says live in generational wealth magazines. And if you haven't done that yet, what are you doing with your life?
It's buy magazines at generational wealth levels. So, guys, do you have anything else to add?
Joe?
No, just, be active in the community on the social media, share, like, all that stuff, whether it's us, whether it's the listeners that are posting stuff on Facebook or on Instagram. Check them out, spread the love. Let's fight back the best way we know how, and that's just a flood. I'm pretty sure Instagram, if you like all gun stuff and that sort of stuff, when you go to your feed, they just replace it with porn, so there's that. You don't get to see any gun stuff. You ever look through our feed, like our explore page on Instagram.
No.
Yeah, it's my
Never been there.
my even my personal one isn't that far off, but I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, what would usually be here is shadow banned, so we're just gonna throw some random thirst trap or
Muscle mommy.
OnlyFans model.
Look at the whores.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
The whores. I have something. Guys, if you haven't registered, well, okay, you can't do it yet, but by the end of the month, look for GunCon because tickets will be on sale. And if you want to hang out with Nick and I, Joe, are you coming?
Yes.
I'm not going to swear.
I'm the first one to have my plane ticket bought.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm not going to swear. But yes, if you want to hang out with Joe, Nick, and I at GunCon in Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, I said Cleveland, Ohio. Kind of boring.
Because all the little chicks with their crimson lips say Cleveland rocks.
Yeah, Cleveland rocks. Whatever. Anyway, fine. Whatever.
And there's people in the chat that can vouch for. We're pretty cool people to hang out with.
No, we are, and you know what? Cleveland's fine. There's a couple guys from like shooting that are in that area. Whatever. We'll go hang out. Come hang out with us because GunCon 2025 is going to be off the chain. Can't wait to see all y'all. So come hang out with us.
Yes. And everyone out there, you know what I am going to say. And that is, guys, go out, get training, get medical training. You know, make sure that, you are going to be your own first responder. And with that, you folks out there, you stay safe and stay armed.